Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone? Okay, I need a few minutes, please. Okay, we're set. We are all set to go live. Da-da-da-da. Oh, you're here.
I've found it. Yeah.
I thought I didn't even know the request was gone. How are you, Hamish?
I am very good, and I've got a camera with a mind of its own, so I'm good. Yes.
A Canberra with a mind of its own.
Yeah, it's
And
going. As you can see my chest rather than my head. Anyway, I'm back again now. I'll have to sit
it's
still.
the same. If our even we don't even own our own minds. So like how Hamish, how have you been?
I've been good, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long week, but good.
All
I
right.
have. It's been a good week. Yeah, no, I've been good. I have had fun. I've done a lot of thinking about what we're talking about tonight.
Ooh.
And yeah, another week is over. Almost the weekend here.
Yeah. Same here. So
Mm.
Hamish, what's coming up? You said that you had a lot coming up around the topic that we are reflecting on today or tonight. So who are you?
Who am I? Well, after last week, I am not an awful lot of things that I thought I was. And I'm Hamish.
Yeah.
I am kind. I am loving. I am supportive. Um, I have the role of a brother
Mm-hmm.
and a son and things like that. But I am no longer so focused on a role. I'm not the photographer that I used to be. I am not all sorts of things. So I am more and more embracing who I am as a human being, as a person. I'm not identifying nearly as much as with what I used to be or what I thought I was. I was a highly successful photographer. I was a highly successful person working in the TV industry when I was a lot younger. Um, but I'm not those things anymore. I am me, and I have things that I do, I suppose, is probably the best way of describing it.
Yeah, Hamish, I hear a lot of I am and I was
Mm,
in your in but when you were talking.
yeah.
If we take out the I am and I
Hmm.
was, then what's left behind?
What's left behind when I've taken out everything that I am and that I was? Presence, I suppose. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hamish. Kindness, joy, happiness, um, intentional, that kind of thing.
yeah. And how does that
Well,
feel?
hard to pronounce. Hard,
Really?
hard to pronounce because if I can't say I am or I have, I have a role as a photographer. I have a this. I have a that. It's getting a bit abstract. I think if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's explain for the audience when you say it's getting a bit abstract.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, well, last week we talked about identifying as, in your case, a mother, a daughter. In my case, a son and a brother, and things like that. And we took that to an extreme. I lost my father last year. I lost my mum some years before. So that role as a son has pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Um, I've been fortunate. I haven't lost a partner. I haven't lost that kind of thing. I haven't the jobs that I have finished or completed. I finished those roles. So I haven't been
Mm-hmm.
made redundant. I haven't been, in a situation where my identity was my job. And then suddenly it was taken from me from retirement or a job loss or something like that. So I haven't had that kind of loss of identity, if
Mm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that you know what's coming up when you said, that you lost your father recently and you've lost your mom a few years back.
Mm,
So those roles automatically kind of like finished off, right? And then for me, I've lost my husband, and I've lost a child, right? And I don't know, for some reason, I went way back in my teen years, right?
mm,
So when I was younger, because you were talking about jobs and they were not defining you, you walked out of jobs because they weren't fulfilling you and stuff like that.
mm,
Uh, I just went back to my teens, and what came up for me was I didn't have an identity then, Hamish.
mm,
It was too, I was too, I don't know who I was. Like when I really think in my 20s, I'm just blank
mm,
because I wasn't a career driven woman. I wasn't like I want nothing. I was just nothing. I was just existing, right? And all those years felt very lonely. And the only thing I remember in my teens is, um, or I can identify with,
mm,
standing out for me, is I want a husband. Ew. Right? So
mm,
they when you look at yourself, in 10 years back or 20 years back. So when I look in my 20s, I did have an identity. I can't really say I had an identity. Oh, I wanted to be a doctor, or I wanted to be this, or I wanted to be that. I was confused, a very
mm,
confused person. And the only thing that comes up was, uh, I want a husband, right? And then I got the husband, and it wasn't very nice. And then 30s came. And now when I look back in my 30s, that's where I see the collapse,
mm,
because that's where I said, no, I don't want this marriage. I don't want this man. This isn't working for me. And I was pregnant with my son at that time. And it took me 2 years to walk away. Or maybe 3 years, actually. I got pregnant in 2015, had my son in 2016, and in 2018, I walked away, right? And because I was buried under so much trauma, I was buried under so much of trauma.
mm,
I'm sorry, somebody keeps on calling me. So, uh, I was buried under so much of trauma that I didn't have time for searching who I am or what's my identity or what's that. And then life happened. And then life became all about identity, right? I have to be the mother, I have to be the father, I have to be the provider. And a few weeks back, that's where the crash happened, where I said, when all the rules fall off, who am I?
mm,
So I've known that, actually, now that I'm talking to you, right, in this moment, because in my 20s, I didn't identify with anything. It was just me,
mm,
just me. What am I? Yeah, I'm Mavish. Do you have a purpose in life? No. What do you want to become in life? I don't know. Do you have any hobbies, any desires? No. Seriously, right?
mm,
So, like, what do you want, Mavish? Husband, right? So, and then for me, the I don't know what it is, this transcendence or whatever it is,
mm,
was I hit, for me, I hit rock bottom, or I hit a new layer where when I wrote those blogs, my identity somehow started to fall off. Like, I'm not a mother, I'm not a daughter, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a friend, and blah, blah, blah. All gone. Throw them.
mm,
Yes. Oh, I can breathe, right? Finally, I didn't even know that they carried so much of weight for me, first of all, right? And then it got lonely because I met
mm,
me again. And now, what is me, right? And that is where the depression and questioning God and questioning everything came. And we did that podcast, right? And after that, I went off the grid. I
Mm.
I just I couldn't move, Hamish. I couldn't move. I couldn't just turn and pick up this cup. I couldn't. If my son would come and say, "Hey, mom," and I say, "No, no, no, please go away. I can't." And I just couldn't. It was a huge crash. Like I went in
Hmm.
really dark. Like I've been in dark places before, right? But this was a very strange kind of darkness, right? And I stayed there. I stayed there for, I don't know, a good 10, 11 days, I guess. I don't know.
Mm.
And bingo, one day, I don't know what happens. The bulb's on, nothing changes externally, but I just say, okay, what the hell? I'm
Hmm.
drowning. Nobody's coming to save me. I gotta save me. Get up, right? And what I learned from all this experience was that I've been living a life in trying to control an outcome,
Hmm.
a certainty. So when I have that control and when I have that certainty, I can say, oh, now I can relax. When I have this level of therapist, oh, it's a relief. Or when I have the house, or when I have the partner, or when whatever, when I have all of those things,
Hmm.
and I'm not getting there. And that's where the burnout is coming. And I'm failing at
Mm.
myself, right? I'm a failure, I'm a loser. Look at me, people are ahead of me, and blah blah, all the stories that we tell ourselves, right?
Mm.
And it was like, no, that's not true. Whatever my mind tells me, I started questioning it in
Hmm.
these past few days. And I said, is this an assumption? Is it a reality? What is this, right? It's nothing. It's just a thought. It's just a thought, right? And a thought is just a thought. It's not
Mm.
real. It's just a thought. So take it as a thought. I mean, whew, it's hard work because
Yeah.
we've lived our life around
Mm.
that, right? And and that kind of has controlled my narrative on how I show up, what my identity is. So if I'm not a mom, I'm nothing. If I'm not a
Mm.
therapist, I'm nothing. uh, and when I said, no, my mind doesn't control me, I control my mind. My thoughts don't control me. I have to choose what thoughts I need to entertain because they're just going on autopilot. And I've done so much therapy. I've been in therapy. I've become a therapist, but I'm still struggling. And then I just realized that everything falls off, and I just realized I exist,
Hmm.
and that's it. I don't need the next one follower or the next client or the next something to hit for me to say I'm happy or I'm content or I'm at peace or just existing is okay. I don't need something external to tell me or validate my existence. I don't know if that makes sense though.
Let me see. Does that make sense? I think, yeah, I think it does make sense. It's nice not to have to require another follower, another this, or as you said, when I have got that certification, when I have got this, when I have got that, because what happens when you have?
You
Then,
run to the next best thing.
well, that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's out there, it's never enough. It's it's
Yeah.
it's it's never enough, and um, yeah. So it makes a lot of sense, and I guess once I stopped doing that, yes, it is a bit lonely. Yes, it is a little bit, as you said, it's a little bit disconcerting because it's like, well, what am I? How am I? What's meant to happen? There is that, as you said, that level of uncertainty, and then there is like peace. I haven't got to do this, I haven't got to do that. Yes, we've still got to live, we've still got to eat and things like that, but it takes away a lot of that pressure.
Hello.
Back again. Yeah, back again.
Yeah. Can you
Mm.
give me a second? Can you just give me a second? I'm just going to switch the Wi-Fi so it doesn't kind of like disconnect again.
Okie dokie.
Can you see me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry for that. Yeah. So what were you saying? Sorry, I lost the
Well,
trail
just
of.
that whole thing when we haven't got to get externally validated, when there's not that need for something external, um, there's more peace because we're not relying on other people or other things to temporarily fuel us. That was the gist of where
Do
we
you,
were going.
do you think it's just the need for validation? Because when when we're looking at identity, it's not the need. I don't need the validation to be a mother. I am a mother, you know.
Hmm.
But and I also think that validation is something very necessary, and we kind of like lose the plot there. Oh, why do you need validation? Everybody jumps the guns. Why do you need? You're a weak person. You need validation. They don't say it, but it comes off like when the first. If you have a conversation lately with people, and I come to
Mm.
you, not you, but I'm just giving a hypothetical example. Hey, Hamish, I'm really hurt. My friend did this. And blah blah blah. Right? The first thing that comes to, why do you need her validation? Like, hello, back off. Validation is okay. It doesn't
Hmm.
make you weak, it makes you human. And
Mm.
I think that's where we're kind of like really disconnecting as humans. We're forgetting that it is a basic human need, right?
Mm. Yeah.
I won't say it's a need actually. That makes it very clingy and very like you can't live without it. But I think it's more like a want,
Mm.
right? Because
Yeah.
if you reflect back to your life, and if I reflect back to my life, we never did get validated. That's where the trauma is. Like, hello, right? So the trauma is from not being validated, is from not being seen in XYZ, right? But we survived it, right?
Mm.
So it's not the need, but it's the want.
Yeah.
And having that want is healthy. I think if I said, or if I taught, or somebody taught me, let go of validation. You don't need that, and blah, blah, blah. I think that is very unhealthy because now you're telling me to become Buddha and just exist alone, like just be
Mm.
yourself and,
Yeah.
leave the world and be detached. And
Mm.
detachment is not healthy.
No.
I need some form of, even in this interaction, there is validation coming in.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. If
not
I was
talking to
sat
you
there
as
with
a,
my phone while you were doing that, you would
yeah.
soon get bored of talking
Who am I talking
because I'm
to?
not
The
giving
wall.
you any attention because we're not having a conversation. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of it is this, you don't need validation. I think a lot of that is this new age spirituality where it gets quite polarized, and it's
Yeah.
you do. I mean, a conversation, if you're upset or your children are upset, they don't come for you validation. They come for your love, your support, your attention. If you're chatting with a friend, they don't come to you, oh well, they actually, they want to communicate. They're
Mm-hmm.
telling you a story, they're telling you how they're feeling, and it's all that. That's not validation, that's just basic, as you said, human connection. And if I'm going to be, like I used to do a lot of, just completely distant and hold you at hand's length and not communicate, not share,
Mm.
because I'm not allowed validation because somebody told me that,
Yeah.
um I'm doing you a disservice. You're not able to communicate with me, connect with me. You're not able to give that care and support that is part of who you are. I'm not able to receive. And as a human being, it's so incredibly important to be able to receive and to give that love and connection. So the whole
Mm,
validation thing, I think, as you said, it's people being missing the point and gaslighting. And
mm.
I heard it from somebody else, so it must be true. So just,
I
hearsay,
mean,
just passing on.
I think social media is full of it. So
Mm,
full of it. You don't need validation. Go, girl, go get hustle and do this. Like, oh, duh. Like, no, it's
mm,
okay. And I think that they lose the. I think social media is ruining us in so many ways. Even sometimes when I read my own posts, when I go back and I was like, "Ooh, I don't know how this is going out to the person. This was
mm,
not my intent." So I'm
yeah.
not blaming people, but I'm just saying that how we're absorbing it
Hmm.
is it would really have to be very aware because social media, if we're not using this and we're not connected,
Mm,
it's teaching us that you don't need connection, you don't need a relationship, you don't need validation. So basically all become narcissists to the next level.
yeah.
I am who I am, I don't need to change myself, and
Mm,
I hustle and I make all the money and I get all the materialistic things and I live alone and I die alone,
yeah.
basically.
Okay.
It is basically that. And
Mm,
there's one side of the spectrum where we're just accusing men, and the other side of the spectrum we're accusing women.
yeah.
And that's why sometimes I also get really confused is
Mm,
when I'm talking too much about where women are coming from. I freeze and I
mm,
say, okay, I need to talk about men too. So then I step in and talk about men, because this has to like go like this. It can't go like just women. And when we're just saying women, women, which is true, that part of the story is true, but when it
mm,
just becomes one part of the story and not the whole story, I think it just ruins us.
mm. It's separating, and men and women make babies. Let's keep it as simple as that.
Yeah,
That is a big part of being human, is to bring the next generation forwards. And if
yeah,
we're going to fight, that's not going to happen.
yeah,
And as you said, there's been more and more people, and there are more and more people are living alone, not forming relationships, not
yeah.
bringing new children into the earth. Certainly in the UK, the number of children per couple is down, down, and down. In some countries, it's far below two. And yeah.
Wow, wow.
Um,
Well, we have no problem here. Doing good.
mm,
No problem in this part of the world, I think so. And that's just 1%
mm, yeah.
of the population that's doing the
Mm,
job for the whole population.
mm,
But but yeah, not that bad yet. But obviously we have no studies and stuff like that to back up
mm,
what I'm saying. That's just my general observation. Hamish, you said something earlier which I want to come back to,
mhm.
is that because I was told, I was taught, so you did that, and the distance thing, right? um Talk more about that. Is it around your identity as a man, or was it societal conditioning, was it trauma, was it all of it?
A lot of men's disconnection and holding people at arm's length is upbringing. We've
Hmm.
touched on this before. Boys don't cry, men don't cry, all that
Yeah.
kind of thing. The expectations on a man, um, and I've said before, men are actually, come back, camera. Men are very sensitive, very emotional. We just don't show it, and it does not take an awful lot for a man to be cut to the heart, and just switch off.
Mm.
They don't necessarily fight so much. They just go quiet. They go silent, and then that connection's gone, and that's unhealthy. But that's what a lot of men do, and it's a coping strategy because of goodness knows what things happen
I
as a child.
think,
When you've had your
yeah.
emotions invalidated,
Mm.
that didn't hurt. You fall over. That didn't hurt. You're fine. When actually it did hurt, and you want a
Mm.
hug, and you want this and want that. You don't get it.
Mm.
Sorry about my camera. I'm not sure
It's
what I'm
all
going to do
right.
about it. Um, there is that problem. So it's one of the unhealthy thing about being men is this keeping people at arm's length, not communicating, not connecting, because it's also dangerous. I mean, we've talked about that in previous conversations.
Absolutely.
Um, and then the identity bit around it, identify as cool. I'm cool. I'm collected. I can do this. I'm the provider. I can do my job. I can do this.
Yeah.
And there is that perception.
Yeah.
Um, and boys pick it up because they learn from other boys and men from other men and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's an out of date story, I think, out of date society expectation, which I don't know what your boy's doing, how he's going to evolve, how he's going to be different from our generation, from
Yeah.
how he will grow up differently to how our generation did. I don't know, but you'll have to see.
Hamish, I think I did share that in a live stream with you also. So
Mm,
my son is allowed to show emotions at home, so he cries a
yeah.
lot when he was younger also, right? And he's
Mm,
still allowed, right?
yeah.
I've been having issues in his school, behavior issues.
Mm,
So the label is behavior issues, right?
mm-hmm,
And like I don't want to even get into what's going on, but
mm-hmm,
the theme is that my son is having behavior issues. He's going to be 10 this year, right?
yeah.
And my only thing was, maybe it's just pre-puberty, like, so
Mm,
no, it's not really behavior issues, so we don't label it,
yeah.
right? And then we have our summer break, right? So it started from the 20th, but I wasn't sending my son 2 weeks before the summer break. I was
Mm-hmm,
having issues in school. I was fighting with the school, so I just told my son, you just stay home and have fun, right? So he only went a few days when there was the last week when they were just having parties and games and going out and watching movies. So no interaction of that sort where they're doing some educational stuff.
mm-hmm,
And my son has mild dyslexia, so he goes to a scaled tutor, right, twice a week, where
mm-hmm,
she helps him bridge that gap, right?
yeah.
I'm also dyslexic, never got it treated or never got any tools, so yeah, that's where the comes from. But so I since the behavior issues were getting so highlighted that once I withdrew him, all the times he started going, I would message the tutor and say, how was he? And he would say, good, 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 good. So today I
Mm,
messaged and said, Marish, he's doing so good. He's being so obedient. And I didn't like the word obedient, but he's listening, he's following directions, he's doing his work well. And I just said to her that, do you see where the issue is now then? The school is doing something. They're putting me under pressure. Uh,
mm,
they're telling him to be something he's not, right? So when he comes home, I don't tell him to be something. He can't read. Okay, you can't read. Whatever. Right now, he has this. He's crazy about having YouTube subscribers. So
mm-hmm,
we managed with my father's help to get him 100 subscribers. So I don't know.
mm-hmm,
He has
mm,
106 or 7.
mm,
And he's happy, he's so happy, but he's constantly, refreshing his page to see
mm,
how many. So and I say, what are you doing? And he's saying, I'm seeing if I get more. I say, how many do you need? And he said,
mm.
I need 1 million subscribers, Mama. And I,
Yeah.
and I said, Once you hit 1 million subscribers, what will
What
change
will
about
change? Mhm,
Suleiman? Will something change? Will you have like horns coming out, or will there be a crown coming out of you? Like, what happens when you reach 1 million? And he's
mm,
like, no, Mama, you don't get it. I'll be so happy, 1 billion subscribers, right? So he's trying to explain me. So I said, that's so cool, yeah. But do you see
mm.
that all coming from outside? And
Yep.
then he became quiet. And he's like, but this Suleiman still says the still Suleiman, right? You're still that cool with 100 or 0 or 1 million. And he said, no, Mom, I will feel different because I'll have more money and I'll be making money or stuff like that. And I said, okay, fair enough. Then what do we do? And then he goes like, so I thought he would say like, then I need 2 million. But Hamish
Mhm.
went way up. He said, then I want 5 million. So I said, oh, okay, so
Mm,
1 million, and then we're going to 5 million. And
mm,
as I said, Salman, once you reach 5 million, what happens? And then there
mm,
was this whole explanation how he'd feel, and the
yeah.
cars and the Lamborghinis and all that is going to come and stuff like that, and how he's going to take care of his mom and stuff like that. Uh, and then I said, Suleiman, so then what's the next thing? And then he
Mm,
really started thinking. And I said, I want you to pause here and think. You're always going to be thinking about the next best thing. Why can't we just stop here and say, yes, I got 100 subscribers. Let's celebrate that. Let's get an ice cream
mm,
and just be happy. Just be happy for at least 100 days. Can we try
mm,
that? And he said, yeah, but well, next morning we were back to, I got another
mm,
subscriber or something. But it is just like putting it in his head,
mm,
that. And then also, when you ask that question, coming back to, will my son feel differently as a boy or a man or whatever in this um world?
mm,
No, until uh, he won't feel like, if he were feeling 100% struggles, he wouldn't probably feel 100% of them, but
mm,
he will still feel 50 to 60% of them,
yeah.
you
Mm,
know. And it's because when he goes out in the world, he's still learning that. That's why he's stressful in school, because he has to be a certain way. So that's
mm,
where the frustration happens, and the frustration comes back home. When he comes home, he's very angry, he's throwing things, and he's just
mm,
very loud, and he's screaming back at me. And then when he calms down after an hour, 2 hours of school, coming back from school, he'll come to me and say, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to misbehave, I didn't know where the anger was coming from.
mm,
It's just that frustration of those 7 8 years in school, in carrying himself in a
yeah.
way the
Mm,
world expects him to be. But when he
yeah.
comes home, it takes him another 2 hours to
Mm,
dismantle that. And then when he relaxes into his true self, that's where he's like, I love you, mama. Do you want a hug? Can I get you
mm,
that? I'm sorry. So, those kind of things. So I think that I think in all stages of our life, Hamish, we do struggle with identity so much. It's
mm.
such a larger question at every stage of our life. Don't you think so? Besides when we're babies, that's the best stage.
Well, like I said, when we're babies, we don't know, do we? We just think that we're the center of the universe, and then
Yeah.
yeah, we are our parents, and then yeah, and then something happens, and we realize we're not. There's more to it, There's stuff beyond us. Yeah, um, I sometimes wonder whether it really matters. You know, we can talk about these things, we can discuss them, and you know, I am still a brother. That is
Yes.
part of who I am.
Hmm.
Um, do I consider myself a son? I don't consider myself a son. That
Is it because your
just,
parents are not in this world?
I'm just tapping into it as I talk about it. I
Okay.
think because my dad was sick, he had dementia. The role was reversed. I became the caregiver.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
not the primary caregiver. We had people to help and things like that. So I think there was just a natural progression. I mean, yeah, I'm 54, so I don't really consider myself a son in that respect, or a child, certainly a child son.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I suppose so much of it is subconscious. So much of it is, as we said, it is societal. Like your son, he's realizing what he has to be at school. He has to be this, he has to be that. If he's going to be bullied, he's either got to be strong or smart or clever or funny to avoid being that child who gets bullied, or he's the sporty type, or this or that. So we need those identities to help us make sense of life.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I was a bloody good photographer. I was a very good this. I was very good as in the camera world, in the TV world. Um, did I identify them? That's what I was. I it's quite nuanced. But
Yeah.
I think it's important to have not lose yourself. I mean, I had an amazing conversation with a guy on my podcast earlier in the year,
Mm.
and I think I've mentioned he married when he was in in 19 or 20.
Okay.
He'd been with his sweetheart since they were 16. And
Okay.
then when she died 20 odd years later, he was so used to being them, he
Mm.
was like, well, I'm half a person. And it took him a long time to disidentify from being half of a relationship where one person was dead. He had to re-find himself, and it was very hard for him. So I think,
Mm.
as you did the other week, you went, I am stepping out of these roles. I think that's really important. And I think when you do it like you did, I think that's the way to do it, rather than like poor old John, who had no choice.
Mm.
I'm thinking of people I know who've retired, and they're like, well, what do I do? You know, I'm used to getting up at 8 o'clock and going to work and coming home and repeat this 5 days a week. And when that identity change is forced on you, it's very hard. And I think, as I said, when you consciously decide to choose about it and how you're going to fit into that and just step back a bit, that's the healthy bit, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think to begin with, identities are essential. Well, they are for clubs, for school, for growing up, to make sense of, and to fit in. If we didn't identify as members of a village, it would be
Mm.
disastrous. If we didn't identify as members of a family, we would be ostracized. So
Mm.
I guess it's a part of the human condition to identify to a certain extent.
I think what you're getting at is the identity is not me. It's just a part of me.
Yeah.
So the sense of self still exists when even the identities fall off. But what we do is there is no sense of self if there is no identity,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm.
because for me, uh, because obviously I've been through it in 3 weeks. Uh, if I get too attached to the role as a mother, eventually my kids are going to grow up
Yeah.
and go live their lives. What
Mm.
do I do now? All I've done
Mm.
my whole life was a mother.
Yeah.
Or if in my case, I don't have a husband right now. If it's my parents also, people are going to come and people are going to go. For
Mm.
everyone, for all of us, for you, me, everyone
Mm.
individually, we need to understand in the end, it's just me with me. So if I
Yeah.
don't know me, if I don't have a sense of me,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be what I went through, I guess, that feeling of drowning and darkness
Yeah.
and now what do I do?
Yeah.
Literally, I didn't know what to do. I
Mm.
literally felt like when I was laying in my bed that I'm drowning. And this is
Mm.
the image that would come. I'm drowning. And I have one hand out, but nobody's coming to get me.
Yeah.
So how do I get out now?
Mm.
Who's coming? And it kept on coming. Is my father coming? Is my mother coming? My
Yeah.
children coming? Nobody's
Mm.
coming. It kept
Mm.
on coming. Nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming. And it got really lonely and I kept on crying. Why isn't anybody coming?
Mm.
Why isn't nobody checking that I'm in bed and I'm drowning? I wasn't drowning, I
Mm.
was just laying in bed. It could have just be
Mm.
assumed she's tired or she's sick and she's just in bed or she just wants space. But I wasn't moving, right?
Mm.
And it hit me that if I'm not there for me, nobody's going to be there for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it sounds uh, healthy or not, but for me, it just became that. And then I'm going to be always be there for myself because it's always
I,
going to be me, you know?
that I think you've nailed it there. I think that bit, I have to be there for me,
Yeah.
vital. You have got friends, you have got family members, you have to remember to reach out for them.
Yeah.
But that bit, if I'm not there for myself, no one's going to be there for me.
Yeah.
If I don't know who I am, as you said, if there's no self identity, then yeah, it gets messy.
Yeah. I think
Mm.
for me, it was I lost all identities. Like
Mm.
literally, they just evaporated. And I was left with just me, the sense of me. And obviously, we've discussed that it felt very lonely and liberating, and it felt
Mm-hmm.
very this and that. But now where I'm at is it's more grounded. Like I feel more
Mm,
secure. Like life is gonna keep on happening. So externally things are keep on they're gonna keep on happening. You know
mm,
what is consistent and stable and there is me. So do I have me? Because all my life I didn't have me. I needed a husband, I needed a friend, too much, right? If they were not there, I had to grip that reality too hard.
mm,
And if it was not there, something is missing, or I'm depressed, or I'm not happy, or something like that.
mm,
Now it's kind of like shifting to people are going to come and people are going to go, things are going to change, identities are going to shift.
mm.
What remains is me.
Yep.
Can I stay stable with just that?
Can you stay stable with that? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts there?
Well, a part of me says, after what I've been through in these few days,
Mm,
yes.
yep.
And a part of me says that maybe you're human. So you're gonna have fluctuations in
Mm,
life.
yep.
So both can coexist.
Do you know how profound that is? That both can coexist. I think if when people can embrace that, you know, I can be happy, I can be sad, both can coexist. Life gets easier.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
hope so.
there's going to be good days. Yay! There's going to be bad days. Crap. You know, they're both going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
if it's never good the whole time, it's never bad the whole time. Yes, people think it is, but it's not. But that being able to hold that duality is remarkable because it just helps you get resilient and stay resilient.
Hmm. Do you think that in life we have to keep on getting resilient?
Um, I think it's really helpful to be resilient. It doesn't mean that life's. It doesn't mean hard. It doesn't mean self-sufficient. It doesn't mean don't need other people, want other people. I think it means for me, it's the capacity to get back up again. I think that's probably what it is. It's it rather than stay in bed for a week or a month or give up. You know, it is not alone based, but it does come back to what you said earlier. No one's going to rescue you.
Hmm.
No, the only person who's going to rescue you is somebody who wants something from you, unless there are very, very altruistic people out there, and there are some. You know, your friends, your mum or your dad would come and help, but they would say, right, you know, we've gotten you out of bed, we've done this, we've done that. Now you've got to pull your finger out. Now you've got to get back on with life, because they've got their own lives to look after.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
people,
yeah.
I think what we miss out is people, uh, uh, and there is trauma board, and then the co-independence, those words come up, is nobody can do the inner work for you, right? So when I was drowning, if Hamish came and said, enough is enough, we're going out for a cup of coffee, and took me out for coffee, I would have
Hmm.
gone. Somehow he would have managed me to take me for coffee. And we're sitting in this beautiful place having coffee. If I was still drowning, it doesn't matter whether it was a bed or if I was sitting in a coffee bar,
Hmm.
I would still be drowning, right?
Hmm.
I would
Yeah.
just be drowning with, now I'm not alone. I have Hamish sitting in front of me and I'm still drowning, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Uh, uh, so the the profoundness is that what God was trying to teach me was that there are going to be times you're going to be alone, and
Mm.
there are going to be times people are going to save you. How are you going to look at it? How are you going
Mm.
to perceive it, right? So when you're sitting with Hamish in the coffee bar and having coffee and you're still feeling like you're drowning, nothing is changing internally. It's just the external environment
Yeah.
changing,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So I think the whole experience was having that sense of self, s- secure and grounded, where I can handle me and navigate myself through life, through challenges, through uncertainties, uh,
Mm.
and I'll be okay. That
Hmm.
thinking that I won't be okay, I need Hamish, I need somebody to come and save me because I'm drowning, is just conditioning.
Yeah. Hmm.
right? Hamish can come and he can take me for coffee. Great, but then I have to tell Hamish, okay, Hamish, this is working. I'm feeling better. Or no, I'm still drowning. Can we go
Hmm.
somewhere else? Can we go to the park? Or can we go to the therapist? Or can you take me to a psychiatrist or a mental hospital or whatever, right? But I will have to do that. So I think what life was teaching me in those moments was rely on yourself, have self
Hmm.
trust. You got you.
Hmm.
People are going to come. You're not going to be left alone on this planet. But remember when I said that when it was just me, it was very lonely.
Hmm.
Now it's not feeling lonely.
Hmm.
Somehow it's like I'm okay. I'll be fine. I,
Yeah.
I I can trust myself through the process.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that, and I think yeah, it has to be. It has to be. I mean, go back to your son. When I got 100 followers, when I got 1,000, be good. Get to 1,000, I
Mm,
want 5,000. I often think about that. What would happen to me if I won the lottery? If I won £10 million, what would happen? Would I be happy? Nothing changes internally. Yes, I would have material. Yes, I'd have this. I would still be have good days and bad days. I'd still be struggling about this. I'd still be wondering about that. I'd still Nothing has changed internally. And yes, money helps. Full stop. It
mm.
does. It makes life easier,
Oh,
but it
absolutely.
but it doesn't necessarily make you happier. That's a
No.
choice, being happy anyway. Um, and it doesn't mean you've done the hard work. You're just going to bypass. If you've got enough money, you just bypass everything and pay someone to do this and that and the other. You're not going to change intrinsically because
Mm,
you haven't sat there, gone, I have no identity, and sat in bed for 3 days thinking, what the hell is going on? And
mm,
then gone, no one's going to save me. I've got to do it
mm,
myself. I've got to be resilient. And like you've gone, right, I'm going to do it. I'm
mm,
going to change. I'm going to realize that all those thoughts are just thoughts. They're just noises. They're just messages. And if I got £10 million in the bank, I haven't got to give a monkeys about them because I can just throw money at it. And that is not a solution.
mm.
So it's not, your son will work it out. He's only, he said, 9 or 10 years old. It took me to
Yeah.
55 to work this out, 54 to work this out. So
Yeah.
he should
Uh,
be doing all right. It took you until
yeah.
you're in your early 40s as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
I think, Hamish, I think, I may be wrong completely, but I think, well, I won't say a lie, but this thing that we've been brought up with about happiness, be
Mm-hmm,
happy, be happy. When you
mm-hmm,
get married, you'll be happy. When you have children, you'll be happy. When you become a doctor, you'll be happy. When you become a therapist, you'll be happy. All external validations to make me happy.
mm-hmm,
And I think I don't think so. The purpose in this world, at least for me, what's come up in these days is I want to be happy.
mm-hmm.
I want to be at peace with me, regardless.
Yep.
That's what's come up for me. So
Mm-hmm,
I'm not saying, well, I've not been saying it for quite some time that I want to be happy, I want happiness or whatever, externally or internally. But profoundly and with clarity, what has come up to me is, and I pray 5 times a day, and this is the prayer. I'm not saying, God, give me happiness. I'm saying, I want peace here. That's the ultimate contentment in life. Like,
mm-hmm.
even when it's raining outside, peace. Even when the thunderstorm, peace, it'll come. I'm really scared of thunderstorms, so I'm just saying that. It'll come, it'll give me the wave that I'm scary,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I got me. I'm holding me at peace. So I think what I want to give people is right now in this moment is maybe just sit with that. Is it really happiness or is it really peace?
Good question. I
Mm.
would go for peace because
Mm.
there's days I can't be happy. The day that my dad died and the weeks before and the weeks after, I wasn't happy, but I
Yeah.
was at peace because he was at peace because, what happened needed to happen. So being at peace is radical acceptance.
That's so beautiful. You know, when you say that you were at peace because your father was at peace, you know. My daughter died after 6 days. She was not in any pain, right?
Mm,
Uh, and when she passed away, and I came home that night, her burial was the next day. I messaged my sister and I said, please don't hate me, but I need to say this. But I feel at peace that she's dead. And this is the words I wrote. And now
mm,
when you're saying that, it makes sense because my daughter was in peace now. She didn't have those tubes, those wires. I don't know if she was in pain or not. Uh, I told them to give her extra morphine. I don't even
mm,
want her to feel a prick of anything. But I wasn't living inside my baby's body, right?
mm,
So I
yeah.
can't talk for a baby, right? So from the outside, when I looked at my daughter, I saw my baby was in a lot of pain
Yeah.
because she had over 100 tubes attached to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not over 100, but I'm just saying there were a lot of tubes attached to her. And the day she died, the only thought that came to my mind was literally, Hamish, it was like, oh, I'm so much at peace. And that's why I said to my sister that don't judge me, but I want to say this. Why do I feel so much at peace? My daughter just died, you know.
Mm,
And my daughter, my sister had said it so beautifully that maybe you've lived in uncertainty for 5 months. You didn't know what was going to happen, and then those 6 days, this is happening to Sophia, that's happening to Sophia. Now it's
mm,
finished,
yeah.
done. She's
Mm,
gone.
yeah.
So maybe it's just okay. Not you don't have that mental, thing going on. So it's okay. And Hamish, I've said that so many times, and every time I said it, I thought I was activated or I was operating from my trauma. But right now, I'm really grounded, right?
Mm,
And I want to say that I'd lost a part of me. I lost my daughter, and it wasn't as painful as the torture I went through in my marriage. It doesn't equate to that,
mm,
you know. People would think and I don't know, maybe differ. You lost a baby and everything. For me, my baby's at peace,
yeah.
you know, and there's nothing more beautiful of a gift that I could give my child that God has already given her is peace,
Yeah.
you know. So for me, every time when I look, when I write, when I reflect, when I cry, when I fight with God, I've never there was radical acceptance and peace when my daughter died.
Mm,
There was never there was initially there was I want the miracle baby, and in the beginning when Sophia died, there was that fight with God that you didn't give me my miracle. I'm angry at you. I don't believe in you because you didn't show up the way you were supposed to show up, right?
mm,
But after that, I guess when I processed that bit, from that day onwards, how many years it's been? She died in 2013. Do the math. My math is very, very bad. Uh, I've been profoundly at peace. Crying is something different, but
mm,
internally, I'm at peace because she's at peace.
yeah.
But I'm not at peace in many moments with what I had to endure in my marriage.
Mm,
I still get up at night. I still worry. Um, the week when this week when I told you that I was drowning, and um, all those thoughts. Not that my lost my daughter was coming up. Was It was just those thoughts that I'm dying, and I didn't deserve what my husband did to me.
mm,
You know. So the trauma of narcissistic abuse or whatever you want to call it uh, has left deeper scars.
mm,
At least in my life, in my experience, uh, than than losing a baby, than putting her to ground or
mm,
bathing her or saying a goodbye to her for the very last time. I've not been to her grave because I moved back in 2019. So I don't know once or when I visit how I would feel. But I do know even every time I have cried for her, it has been followed with peace.
Mm,
But with trauma, when I've cried, it's felt like grief, like loss, like I didn't deserve it, like I don't know, but something more raw,
mm.
you know?
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? This, going back to that decision to want peace, to pray for peace, and ask God for peace. I mean, I'm equating that with resilience. They kind of go hand in hand together.
Yeah.
I want that. It's a capacity to survive, a capacity to make sense of, a peacefulness to see through life, whatever comes my way. I mean, I prefer the word peace. I'm going to swap it, get rid of resilience. Bye bye, and
Yeah.
use
It
peace
was
because
making me
it's
very, when
yeah.
you said resilience, to me it felt like I have to do more work towards getting peace. When you said the word resilience, that's what
That's
came.
yeah. I can live with that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
peace, kind of like gratitude. It's a gentle word, isn't it? It's a really grounded, strong word. I mean, yeah, I like that. That.
You said
Mm.
earlier radical acceptance.
Mm.
Sometimes, when like you said, when your father passed away, you were at peace. You didn't have to do some work or process something. It just happened in the moment. Radical acceptance. My dad is in peace. I'm in peace now,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess that's what peace is. It's that radical acceptance. You're not fighting an emotion. You're not resisting anything. It's just then again becoming back to just being,
Mm. Yeah.
even if the feeling is uncomfortable, but it's just being, the storm will pass.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's also it's not just about me.
Yeah,
You could have gnashed your teeth forever because your daughter died. Poor me, I've lost my daughter. Poor me, poor me, poor me. But
yeah,
you realised it's about her as well. And poor me, I'm an orphan now. I don't have a daddy anymore. Poor me. No, he was suffering. He was uncomfortable. He didn't want to be here. Same for your daughter. Whatever. The experiences, the situation.
yeah,
It's not just about me and not just about you, and that allows the peace to realize that there's a bigger picture.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And we're talking about death being the extreme because that's where, well, if it's different beliefs. For some people it's the end, for some people we're transitioning into another world, and some people we're coming back again in a different form. uh but for me, and I know I keep on going back to the same thing, is those days when I was sit in my bed and I was drowning, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Somehow I was at peace
Right.
because I wasn't running. I'm not being a mother. I'm not being a daughter. I'm not being XYZ doing duties. Being a therapist, I went off grid.
Mm.
And there was the drowning didn't go away. The feeling of drowning didn't go away. And I think I survived the drowning and the intrusive thoughts and everything that was coming up because there was peace in just being.
Mm-hmm.
And that was new. That was really new.
Mm.
And now I'm just okay. Maybe it was God telling me. You keep on asking me, I want peace. I want peace. Let me give you a big dose of what really peace is. Can you handle
Mm.
that? And I got that because now when I'm looking, I was really scared, Hamish.
Mm.
I didn't like those thoughts. That was
Yeah.
not me, right? And I didn't like that I'm lying in bed, but I'm drowning, and I'm like, why isn't anybody coming? Why isn't nobody dragging me out of the bed? Why is nobody at my door? Like,
Mm.
nobody loves me. Am I not enough? Am I invisible? Right?
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
those things were coming up. But
Mm.
I wish I was existing. I didn't
Mm.
give up. I was
No.
breathing.
Mm.
And with even those thoughts, but every time I keep on thinking the drowning and everything, I know I might contradict myself. Where the drowning was there, the peace was there. Because it was like I was floating.
Hmm.
There was no weight,
Okay.
you know?
Mm.
Because I was like, if I'm gone, who cares? Right? Like nobody's really noticing me, like, hello. So like if I'm gone, I'm just trying to add humor to something really intense here.
Mm.
But if I'm gone, nobody really cares and loves me enough. So I can be gone. And I'm gone. Well, I wasn't doing it, but I'm gone.
Mm.
And it was okay. I was at peace.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
So,
When did you realize you were at peace? Once you'd come out the other side, or while you were there? This is what I'm curious about.
uh it came in bits and pieces here and
Hmm.
there.
Mm.
And I was like, what the hell are you telling yourself, Mavish? Like intrusive thoughts drowning and you're at peace. Like are you like psychotic or
Mm.
something? But to be really
Mm.
honest, in this conversation, when
Hmm.
I shared it, that's when it actually I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm actually experiencing my bed is right here, right? So it's right there, right?
Mm.
And I'm just looking at it and I'm imagining myself laying there. And
Hmm.
I wasn't raising my hand like that, but it felt like I'm
Yeah.
drowning. The bed
Mm.
is not a bed. And I'm raising my hand. And my son keeps on coming and saying, and all like this, and I'm doing like this. And my daughter is coming and I'm doing like this. Like, I can't. Like, can you give me that pen that's next to you? No, I can't do that. You
Mm.
know? But when there was nobody around and it was just me, and I was like, okay, I'm drowning. Nobody's texting me. Nobody's coming for me. Nobody's coming at the door. Nobody's coming saying, let's go have coffee. None of those
Mm.
thoughts were coming.
Yeah.
So, Mavish, there's nobody coming. Nobody's going to save you.
Mm.
Might as well go because you're invisible. Life will go on. Your kids will eventually learn to live. They've learned to live without their dad. They learn to live. They're taken care of. Parents will be fine. Who else cares? Everybody's life is going to go on. It's going on right now. And that's what I thought. That's why people
Yeah.
die. That's why
Mm.
people take their life, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So this is how it feels like, right? This is how it feels like because people say they're going to come. People say, I'm here for you. But no, I'm dying. I'm
Mm.
drowning. Nobody's coming. Wow. So there was that sense of so much of acknowledgement or awareness or understanding. And then peace.
Hmm. Yeah.
I guess that peace now that I'm repeating it again and again so many times is let I guess I was letting go of the expectations,
Mm.
the heavy expectations. And when they were falling apart, falling away, nobody's coming, nobody loves me enough, nobody wants to see me. I am invisible to everybody. I'm invisible to my kids, my parents, my friends, blah blah blah, to
Mm.
Hamish.
Mm.
uh, uh, it was that expectation that if they don't show up, what happens to Mavish?
Mm.
So they all fell. Just like the
Yeah.
identity fell, the expectations fell. And voila, I lived through it. We need to toast to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm just sort of thinking through that. I'm following your path of, yes, there was a poor me, there was all this kind of stuff,
yeah, yeah,
but it was processing everything. And then just like, well, if no one's going to do this for me, no one's going to do anything, I've got two choices. I can either go, well, as you said, disappear, doesn't matter, or not. And you chose not to.
yeah,
You chose something remarkable from that. You chose peace.
yeah.
Um,
There was. It's weird because I thought about death, right? I
mm,
thought about, okay, I have the balcony, I have the bed, and there were moments where I thought it's as simple as not breathing, and it became that easy because I felt that internally it was I was closing down, right? That's
mm,
something I'm so exhausted that I'm closing down. I've disappointed so many people, my daughter, my son, and blah blah blah. So really, I don't need to do anything technically. The body will just do it itself. Bravo, right? Magic. uh, and then basically, I experienced myself in theoretical way in the brain, in the process, that when the
Mm.
roles and the I identities fall off, it's just me. And then I physically experienced it, because when you die, people don't say it's Mavish. Well, I don't know how it happens in different religions and countries, but in our part of the world, when somebody dies, you don't start referring to that person.
Hmm.
You start saying the body, the body, the body. Bring the body,
Right.
bathe the body, put the
Hmm.
body to rest. The name's gone. Even your
Yeah.
name's gone, man. Like, oh, right. So it was like that, right? So once I'm gone, I'm gone. Already I'm
Mm.
invisible, right? So when I'm gone, I'm gone. Yay, no
Mm.
problem. Bravo. Oh, and profoundly, um the feeling of drowning didn't go, the sadness of nobody's coming didn't go. So there were a lot of emotions there,
Mm.
but there was peace. And what struck me out actually was a moment where I said, I wish nobody's coming. What do you want? And then I started crying. And I said to myself, you know what? God loves you. Get up. I didn't actually get up, but I said to
Mm.
myself, I wish God loves you,
Yeah.
who was there throughout your life, your journey. And you
Hmm.
kept on saying, God has not abandoned me.
Yeah.
God has not abandoned me. How can I
Mm.
abandon God?
Yeah.
And that's what brought me back,
Mm.
you know.
Wow.
I think that's what gave me peace also.
Mm.
Man,
I
I'm so
think
proud of myself. I want to have some like ice cream or some chocolate or something to celebrate.
I think so. I mean, I think it's just it's such a beautiful awareness and and choices made, and then realizing right at the basics of yeah, well, who's been here all the time with me? God.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he goes, yeah, you're right. I have been. I've been looking after you. Yeah. So,
And
and
then
that's
I'm also about right now, like I said, I need to go have chocolate or ice cream, right?
mm,
Uh I don't think so it has to be that extreme, but maybe it's about time for you, for me, not just for me, for you also, for everybody here. We stop looking at where we want to go or what we don't have or where we have to reach, and just stop and see how far we've come. Hamish, you and me, 6 years, dude. We go back 6 years. Where were we?
oh
Have
yeah,
we have we ever in one podcast ever gone through those 6 years and said, yay, Hamish, good, come here, let me give you a hug, you're amazing? No, it's
mm,
always been about, I'm struggling with this, I need to be there.
mm,
6 years,
yeah,
and never two friends sitting down on a live stream and acknowledging, dude, let's talk about the first podcast. Where was I? Where am I?
mm.
Oh my God, where's the trophy? Let's bring it. Come on. We need that medal. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, that we'd have some great conversations. Yeah, we've had some great conversations on air and off air, and yeah, how far have we come? Yeah. Mm,
Never on air, never off air, never in any air. I think so. You and I
mm,
have said or acknowledged
no.
ourselves how far we've come.
No.
I waited for you to tell me,
Mm,
Hamish, you're doing so amazing, you've come so far. And yes, now Hamish sees me, I feel validated. But yeah, close the phone. After 10 minutes, the same feeling comes back. I'm not good enough. I need to go out and do something and earn something and
yeah.
blah, blah, blah story,
Mm,
right? But never, I think, if I reflect back in our live streams in behind the scenes or a live stream we've actually done where we've actually spoken of how far we've come. Wow.
mm.
Next time we're going to buy two trophies and we're going to pretend we're giving them to each other.
Absolutely. Next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week we'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. We
Mm,
we're here and we deserve to celebrate ourselves. Yeah.
yeah. So important. So
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Mm,
living, we're not surviving. We're living, we're
yeah.
thriving, and we're existing.
And we're at peace
And
sometimes.
we're at
Most of the time.
peace.
A lot of the
Yeah.
time. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
Eh,
Mm,
there we go.
mm.
Hamish, what's coming up for you? I've said so much. What has come up for you before we wrap up? I really want you to take the space up.
Um, I'm going to look back. I think your what you described just now of about that whole process of nobody loves me, no one's be here for me, no one this, it doesn't matter, and then going, okay, you had two choices. Arguably, you had two choices. Um, that is a really powerful place to be. I did that some years ago, back in late 2018. I had the same thing. I had two choices, and the clarity that you get when you start to make really profound life altering decisions are incredible. And
Mm,
I do look back at my life from time to time and see where things are. Not as often as I should, not as often as I ought to. Um, so that's a really big one. The looking back at just how far I've come is a really big thing. I think that is a great takeaway.
mm, yeah,
In fact, I do that with my clients. Sort of look back what you wanted. What did you set out to do? I mean, when I moved to South Africa, I said I'd sit next to somebody on an aeroplane and talk to him,
yeah.
and I did that, and I got a job. By the time I'd got to Cape Town, started a whole new career because I made that choice.
Wow.
And I look back at that, and I could have had two little bottles of beer and a glass of wine and slept the whole way. So I
Mm,
look back at some choices I've made, big choices, 3 or 4 times a year, just to remind myself that I have made choices that have made my life great. I've made choices that were I had to, um, but it's worth doing. It
mm,
is really worth looking back at those moments. What you told me today about your daughter. You were obviously devastated when she died, but you were at peace,
mm,
and you can look back at that and go, I made the right call. I was at peace. I was grateful that she was no longer suffering.
yeah,
Yes, I was cross at God. Fine. God can
mm,
take it.
yeah,
God is big enough to take it. Everybody shouting at him. It's just like, well, um, but remembering to look back, I think has been the biggest takeaway for me from this conversation.
for me too.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's where sadness comes from. That's where not being enough comes from. That's where unhappiness comes from.
Mm,
Peace comes from acknowledging what we've already done for ourselves,
yeah.
not what more we can or should be doing.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that as well is realizing that 7 years ago, I was not the same person now. So I cannot look back at what I was doing 7 years ago, which was pretty average to appalling. And I can't judge that person. So I think another part of this looking back is at the embarrassing stuff, the shameful stuff, and going, well, that's who I was back then. That was the best I was doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because there's bits in my life I'm not proud of. There's probably bits in your life you're not proud of, but that's part of making sense of life.
Yeah, I
You
did.
know,
I achieved that bit. I think last year where there was a lot of shame, and you were so stupid, and you were so dumb to do that,
mm,
And I overcame that. I think 2025 was last year. Yeah, I said no, I wasn't, because if I didn't do those dumb choices, I wouldn't be here today. And when I look
exactly.
at myself, oh
Yep.
wow, I'm proud of
Mm,
me. So
yeah.
thank you, that dumb Mavish, because you brought me here. So,
Yep.
so that was something I really brought to my awareness. Even
Mm,
with sometimes you look at your childhood pictures or those phases in life where you went through and you're like, oh my God, that was so not me.
yep.
So,
Mm,
every time I see those embarrassing pictures, I'm not embarrassed. I'm like, oh,
mm,
I'm so adorable. And even if my daughter's like, his mom losing it or something. And
mm,
every time my daughter looks at 2 years back when like she was 13 or when she was 10. She's like, oh God, I was so ugly. I was so upset. It's like, no, 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 no.
mm,
Don't say that.
yeah.
You have to like never say that to yourself. And she's like, Mom, not everything has to be that deep. And I said, this has to be deep because this is going to define you. This is
Yep.
going to
Mm,
define you. So
mm,
accept it. You're not. That time
mm,
you felt you were the coolest kid.
Mm,
Now you've grown and you're like, oh, I'm ugly and I didn't like the haircut and I didn't like that. So that's the cycle I think that we
yeah.
all need to break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that is part of looking back, being able to do that, because doing that is really healthy. Looking back is so healthy.
Yeah.
Um, and then you see how far you've come, and it's remarkable, really remarkable. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Hamish, we will wrap this up. It was a long conversation, but since you said that, I learned something, and that's what I want to. I don't think so. It's a very good. I don't know if it's going to come across as a good thing, but it was really profound. I saw on a podcast was that we as humans, forever, like since existence, have learned more and evolved more and have been motivated more and done more because of our negative emotions, not
Probably.
because of not because of positive emotions.
Mm.
Because if I'm happy, right, what's there to achieve?
Yep.
Right? And that was really profound. Not that I'm encouraging suffering or stuff like that, but I guess it's just like again more about radical acceptance when we're going through something.
Mm.
It's making us something that is serving us in the best possible way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you too. It's been a great conversation. We've gone everywhere. We have really meandered, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, been a
It
good
was
one.
profound. It was profound.
Mm.
Thank you so much for holding space, holding and listening and guiding me. I am grateful for having you. I'm grateful for these conversations. And we are most certainly doing a conversation where we're going to be acknowledging our journey. I think that
Yes.
is a must. So new
Yeah.
viewers can know where we were and where we're at, and we can teach people to pause and appreciate themselves.
Yep. I think that would be a good conversation. I think it would be a really powerful one. And in fact, what I'll do, if I may, I'll bring this exercise I do with my clients, because it's a simple one and it's really fun. It's actually really fun because it helps you remember how awesome you are, and you
Yeah.
feel your way through it. You don't just think it. So it's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Hamish, I'm going to wrap this. I'm going to close this. I'm
Cool.
awesome. You're awesome. Everybody's awesome. Have a
You're
good
awesome
time.
too, my friend.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye bye.